AM 1380, WLRM, Blues, Southern Soul, and more. It is Talk to Me with Greg Peters, and it is Friday, and we did make it. We did make it because it is time now for Entertainment News with Kia Robinson. How you doing today, Kia?
Hey, Greg. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Doing great. Doing great.
Well, good. Yes. Happy Friday. What is it, 27th? April 27th.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful Friday. Thank God. What has been going on is that we've had these torrential rains all week, like every day. It looked completely miserable. It looked like it was cold rain. They said temperature was going to be like 65, and it was cold. It was dark. It was rainy. We both worked every day. We didn't have time to just lay up in the rain like we wanted to. And the day I can lay up, here it is, sunny. So
exactly.
I'll take it. A sunny weekend.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah. This is supposed to be the first sunny, dry weekend of the year.
Really?
Yeah, of the entire year. So, hey, we'll take it.
Well, I hope it goes on for next weekend. Next weekend is my big weekend. Okay, so that's Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Oh, okay.
So, I've been, for the whole month of April, I haven't had any sugar. I've been doing, none. I've been doing perfectly.
That's great.
Yes, I have been. I have amazed myself and haven't had that many days of feeling sad about it. Like, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Today, I actually worked out, day one, for the first time in like 50,000 years. So I'm proud of that. But I had already planned, so next Saturday, which is Cinco de Mayo, I'm having a garage sale, trying to get rid of all this stuff, trying to do some spring cleaning. Also, there is, at the River Park, there's a big Kentucky Derby themed party where last year I was awarded Best Dressed.
Oh.
So I haven't put forth any effort in that. I'm not even sure if I'm going, but if I am, I'm going to have to find that kind of hat. And, I need one of them Kojic hats.
I'll get you one of them Kojic hats on.
Yeah, one of them Kojic hats, one of them Burlington Coat Factory, just outrageous. You need to be shot. Nobody can see past you hats. One of those kind of hats. But mostly, Corey and he's going to be here for the weekend. He's going to take the weekend with me. Usually he's here Thursday and Friday. But he's going to be here for the weekend, and we were going to go drink and eat whatever I wanted. And it's just going to be a great weekend next weekend.
Okay, then. So,
and also, that starts Memphis in May, right? It's the music festival. And
exactly.
Which always rains. That always rains on the first weekend. So I don't know what I'm thinking, but that's okay.
Also tomorrow at the Memphis Library, it is going to be Michael Baisden. Yes.
Why did you remind? You did tell me that like 2 weeks ago. What time will that be?
That will be at 11 a.m. Mm-hmm.
11 to what?
I think maybe maybe 11 to 1, 2, or 3, something like that. I don't.
I don't have to stop down there. So freaking far. That's the big library. The big library by East High School. I went there a long time ago because I had this boyfriend years ago that used to pretend. Well, I don't know about pretend. He always said he went to Booker T. We'll talk about. Oh my God! Didn't you go to Booker T?
No, I went to Mitchell.
Did you go there?
Yeah, I went to Mitchell High School.
Oh, you went to
Home of the Tigers.
I was about to say, now that I think about it, y'all are the same age. He claimed he did go to Booker T, but he would always say he was Mr. Booker T, and he was captain of the football team, and he was president of the class, and he was voted the finest. Do you know, I went all the way to that library to look up and get an old yearbook just
oh, wow.
He was lying, and yes, he was lying. He was lying about all of it. I found him, and those teeth were not his real teeth. Because he had beautiful teeth. And I found out those were not his teeth that he had in high school either. So, and that's my first experience. Those weren't his teeth either. Yes, that was my experience with that library for the first time. You can find out anything.
The man lied through his teeth about his teeth. Man, I tell you, that is something.
He certainly did. He certainly did. So, yes. What is that library even called? It's called something. The something library. Do you know what it's called?
Oh, that is the Benjamin Hooks Library.
Benjamin Hooks. I always just call it the big library. It's a beautiful library.
Yeah, woman got me, told. She said, it's library. It's library. I said, okay.
Library. It's a pretty library. Yeah, that don't
library. It's a good library.
It's a pretty library. It's a beautiful state-of-the-art library. I remember when it was built. It's gorgeous. It's far, though, and I'll have to think about that. But I do need to meet Michael Bays in person. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Greg, first, let's talk about this. Greg, you said Stormy Daniels running around naked on the internet. Tell me what is happening. What is Stormy doing?
Oh, Stormy Daniels. Yeah, well, Stormy Daniels has a what you call a little quote unquote commercial on a particular website that I will not mention, and she's butt naked, laying in the bed, and she says, "Oh, it's just been so busy with everything that's going on in the news," and I was like, "Whoa!" So this is not old. This is like, recent. I thought it was maybe some of her old stuff. But yeah, man, she's she's doing it. That's all I can say.
Stormy is doing it. This is how you take your 15 minutes and you run with it. For any of you that are also interested, Stormy does have a new porno. Yes, she looks old as hell, but remember, she's only like 36, 37.
Right, exactly.
Give me a little run through. But I think it's called Stormy Secrets. And this has been more...
Stormy Secrets.
I need you to watch it. I need you to watch it, Greg, and come back and tell us what you think about Stormy
Okay,
Secrets.
sure. I will.
I'll find it for you and send it to you. She's made more in the first weekend. She's made off of any of her old pornos ever. So she's obviously, this thing that's going on with her and Trump has been very good for her career. But she also did one. Now I heard this on the radio. It was something about Stormy's Buttalicious or Butt Spectacular. I don't know, but she made one of those too, and it's better than the Buttalicious video. So I'll send you both of those.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Of her pornos, and you can tell me which one you think is better.
You're going to send me some porn, huh? Oh, my goodness.
I've never heard of Stormy Daniels. I don't know if people had heard of her as a
I had never heard of her until she, got it, until the Trump thing. That's all. I mean, I never heard of her.
Right, but look at her now. Go, Stormy. So we're also proud of you making that money.
She says she's been busy. Nobody thinks
to hold anything against poor Stormy. We're happy with her. Yeah,
I mean, I'm cool with it. Obviously, she's marketing this particular affair with her and Donald Trump.
And that attorney of hers. I see the attorney of hers on TV more than I see Trump on TV.
Yeah.
That attorney is making his rounds between that attorney and Comey, the former FBI, over the FBI. They're both just making their rounds on TV. Everybody has a book. Everybody wants to get paid. Greg, it's time for us to release our book. It's time for us to tell something.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Too. Oh, yes, I will tell all the secrets.
Tell all. Well, you do have some good stories, though.
Oh, yes, I got some juicy stories. Yes.
Ones. You tell me, I'll write it. I'll type it all up. You tell me, and we'll make some money.
Fantastic, because, years of being, a late night DJ, on the radio, a
very phenomenal
lot of sensuous and juicy stuff. Oh yeah, I've seen quite a bit. I've seen too much, but it's a whole nother thing,
Right, we'll disclose it all. Everybody, watch out for the book.
There we go.
have to talk about a subject that Greg is not fond of. Greg is not.
But you know what? But I thought, I said, well, hey, it's hot. It's what's going on now. It's blowing up on Facebook and social media everywhere. So for us not to talk about it would just be crazy, because we are TMZ. We are, the TMZ of radio.
We are the Negro TMZ.
Yeah, we are the Negro TMZ. So that being said,
that being said, so I do want you to discuss it with me, and I am going to.
Sure, I will.
I'm going to be nice. I will say this: I am hungry. I have not eaten, but I have decided I will be on my best behavior regarding this, because I know that this is a very sad subject for you. Okay, so Bill Cosby, we found out yesterday that he was found guilty of all 3 counts of sexual, what is it? I don't think they call it misconduct, sexual assault on this lady, Andrea somebody, from 2004 in his suburban Philadelphia home. Okay, so he's accused of drugging and raping this woman.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's talk about this. He's facing up to 10 years for each count, but they can run concurrently. So basically, he can do like a max of 10 years. I don't think he's going to even be sentenced to the 10 years. What do you think? I think he'll be sentenced to.
Well, I mean, at this particular time, Kia, I mean, I thought about it, I said, well, hey, he's 80 years old. What good, is it to lock him up? I just don't I mean, all he can do is just sit there, and
that's all anybody can do because, Greg, remember I'm being nice. This is my nice voice. Because, Greg, if one does a crime, even when it finally catches up with you, okay, same thing as far as, let's say we found out one of those old KKK people that had something to do with, one of those horrible crimes.
You're right, because
if we find out that they did it, we still want them to.
Well, it happened. The guy that killed Medgar Evers, he was like, he was older than Bill Cosby. I think he might have been 90. And they locked him up, and of course I don't even think he's living now. But yeah, that did happen before. So
yeah, and that should. I mean, see, basically, if you don't lock somebody up, to me, it sends the message that if you can run long enough and enough time escapes, then it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll just then it just falls off.
Well, I guess in the coming days, whenever they're going to do the sentencing, of course Greg and Kia, and talk to me, Greg Peters. We'll keep you up to date with that. We'll find out what's the punishment going to be, because we know there's going to be some at this point.
There has to be a punishment. There has to be, or it's sending the wrong message.
But that woman was ugly. She was ugly. Oh my goodness! What was he thinking? My goodness!
You got to admit, he didn't go for all the beautiful ones. He went for a couple of beautiful ones, but he also went with some not so beautiful ones. But he will be sentenced in 60 to 90 days, and yes, we will find out. But wait, this was kind of funny to me, if there's anything funny about this. So the district attorney, so before he's sentenced, he could either go to jail or he could remain out on bail. Well, he was going to remain out on bail, but the district attorney asked the judge, could he have his bail revoked? And the judge asked why. And the district attorney says, because he has his own plane and, he could be a flight risk. And they said everything had been quiet up until then. And then Bill Cosby looked up and said, he doesn't have his own plane, you asshole. And then nobody could believe it. They said, the district attorney said, see, now we're finding out the truth in him. He claims to be such a good guy and America's dad. And he really
hey, anybody
gonna cuss under those circumstances.
Of course.
If you wasn't cussing before, it's time. But don't you find that kind of ironic that this is the guy who always was on Eddie Murphy? Why do you have to use those cuss words? Flim, flam, flar. Remember that whole thing? And why do you have to say this? And why do you have to say that? That's the thing we don't like about Bill Cosby, though, is that he was so self-righteous. We bought into his act, hook, line, and sinker.
Well, I still think I still think there is a lot of innocence with Bill Cosby, because there's not a man, and I talked about this, men with money, they have women on the side, and here's the thing, a lot of those whores, because they're nothing but whores, that he messed with or had relation with, those whores knew what they were getting into whenever they went up to the room or his home or whatever. They knew that some type of sexual content was going to be taking place. And here's another thing about a whore: the whore might have been on drugs. Most times, it's kind of like, it's just like crack. When the crack epidemic came, back in the 80s. Well, if you got a crackhead woman, what I'm saying, she gave you the proposition, you buy her a rock, and get a rock and buy a crack rock, and then of course you get, served by you're either, she, once you purchase the rock, hell, she takes it and she gets delusional, and then she's ready to do whatever it is that she wants to do. So what's the difference between that and then a crackhead whore that wants
why are you okay? So you believe out of this? Okay, it's been 60 women who have complained who have filed some sort of complaint over 5 decades, and you believe that all 60 women were whores.
Whores, yes, in the worst way.
And crackhead type whores that were drugged out whores.
Right.
Okay, well, let's talk about one of them. Let's talk about Beverly Johnson. Beverly Johnson was the beautiful supermodel, whatever. Now listen.
That's how she got there. How you think she got there? She didn't get there by her legs.
But listen to this. This is what Beverly Johnson says, and you tell me how you feel about this. Beverly Johnson states that she went to his room with the intention of having sex to get further in her career. She admits that.
Right.
However, before they could get down to the business and have sex, he offered her an espresso. she was already in the life of in the 70s and 80s. It was that time, and she had taken drugs in the past, so she already knew. Like you said, a lot of them. It was a drug community. A lot of them had done it. She knew the feeling. She tasted a sip or two. She knew that feeling. She knew something wasn't right. Okay, so she threw that down. She grabbed her stuff. She got out of there, took the first taxi, passed out in the taxi, and then, then was taken to the hospital, and then she told us. But get this, here's the important part about this. This is how sick Bill Cosby was. She was planning to have sex with him. She was making it obvious. It was known. This is what we're about to do. I'm coming here to have sex and get somewhere in my career.
Yes, exactly.
Wait, listen, Greg. Hold on. I gave you a chance. He didn't give her that opportunity to even, like a normal person, to have sex. He was giving it up. He's so sick that he would rather drug her first, because that's some sort of sick power move that he likes to do with everybody, telling the same exact freaking story. And then he wanted to have his way with someone who's basically incapacitated, can't make decisions. He doesn't like, obviously, regular sex. Nobody said that. You're right. There were plenty of people who were willing to have sex with Bill Cosby. That is not what he wanted. He likes the sex he can have with you when you can't participate, when you are not part of it, when he can take total control and it's done how he wants to do it. He admits out of his own mouth to doing that. It's a sickness. That is a sickness. This is a man who can have sex with anyone he wanted to have sex with. Like you said, he was rich, he was famous. There were lots of women who wanted to have sex with him. I haven't even heard about the consensual ones. Maybe there wasn't any, because he beat them to the punch and would drug them, because that's the way he liked to have sex with women. And that's sick. And that's why Camille Cosby, I've said it before, but the more I've looked into this case, these allegations have been going on since the 60s. Even if you don't believe that your husband was a rapist, even though everybody says it, your husband has admitted to drugging women, and your husband has admitted to having sex with a whole bunch of women. So for that reason alone, I just think I have nothing good to say about her, because to me, she's complicit. She's complicit. She has known that he's this type of predator, and you stood by him instead of standing up for what's more important, which is women not getting raped and not getting drugged. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Well, with that being said, you're going to wait over 20 years to announce this. You're going to wait over 20 some odd years or more to say that, hey, or back in 1960. I mean, even before Manshoots, I was born or something, or a baby, at the Playboy Mansion or whatever the case may be, and even Beverly Johnson's case, you know what I'm saying? I think that these women pretty much were drug heads, and hey, she just took a little bit too much, that time, and hey, she just, got delusional, and there you go,
What about the ones, Greg, that did complain in the 60s? There were ones. Remember, this is not new. This has been going on. There were ones that did complain at the time, but you got to remember what we're talking about. Let's talk about who Bill Cosby was in the 60s. He was like God. He was the guy. And a lot of women said, they're all saying the same thing, he made threats. It was known that you would never work again. And like you said, most of them were not school teachers and librarians. These are women who were trying to make it in the business.
They were trying to make it in the business,
just exactly. Just like with Harvey Weinstein, just like with everybody else, all these big executives or celebrities that already had a name for themselves that would invite women over that were trying to make it in the business. And just because somebody comes to you or comes for a reading doesn't mean they want to have sex with you. That might mean they just want to get higher up. But, if you have to still allow someone to make that decision. Every single one of these 60 women might have been willing. If he would have said, hey, well, if we have sex, maybe da-da-da-da, they might have been willing, but he took that away from them, and that's the part that's the problem. But wait. But let's go back.
Go ahead.
Go back to the 60s. There were ones. Now these are the ones that he paid off, and these are the he threatened, but they still went forward because everybody's not scared. Some people are brave as hell, which you would have to be to because this is your whole career. You're basically taking a chance on losing your career, and this wasn't a time where anybody was listening to a victim. And so there were several back in the 60s that complained, several back in the 60s that were paid off, several back in the 60s that just never worked again or didn't get heard of, several in the 70s, several in the 80s. But this chick It happened in 2004, which means Cosby has been getting in trouble with this since the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and he was still pulling the same crap in the 2000s, which is crazy. So if we had not stopped him now, Greg, if this woman hadn't come forward and never, ever, ever given up on this case, then where would he be? He obviously didn't learn his lesson. But let's also talk about why women wait. And I want you to look at my Facebook post from this morning, because a lot of men, this is not about you. I think this is just ignorance on a man's part. Y'all truly don't know and don't understand. Even my brother was on here saying the same thing. He's a man. Y'all don't understand. It's not logical to a person. Like, if something happens to you, why are you talking about it 20 years later? I get that it's not logical, but most times people don't ever intend to talk about it, period. But through counseling or whatever, at some point they tell their story. And there's lots of times where there is safety in numbers. If you think you're the only person that something has ever happened to, and you're embarrassed and you're ashamed, and you're not a perfect victim, you know you went over to somebody's house. It was 1 a.m. You know that you were wearing a tight skirt. You know that
right.
You know it all looks bad, but you didn't intend for all that to happen. You know it looks bad, so therefore you didn't speak, or you felt it was partly your fault, so you didn't speak, even though you never agreed to that sexual act. You felt it was partly your fault because you put yourself in that situation. But when you find out that 15 other people say that same exact thing happened to them, that gives you the courage to speak, and that's usually why women speak 10, 15, 20 years. First you have fear, but then there's safety in numbers, and so people start speaking, and then when there's 30 people, there's more safety. I'm not alone in this. And so think about it. What does a woman have to gain from speaking about something that was 20 years ago that you're not going to get paid for? And
we don't know if they're not getting paid. We don't know that.
Well, who's paying them?
We don't know. We don't know.
No, I'm saying.
There's a thing called the powers that may be. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
okay,
the powers may
like
be.
The man, the people who are like with the Bill Cosby,
whoever that may be. I don't know.
The ones who were angry that he was trying to buy NBC.
Right, exactly.
The people that are against him might be paying this one.
Exactly.
Okay, tell me this, Greg. Do you think there's a chance that even 1, 2, or 3 women could be right, or is this all a complete hoax and a setup?
I think this is all a complete hoax and a setup. Now, I'm not saying that Bill Cosby didn't have infidelity while he was married to Camille. Hey, the guy probably had plenty of women. I told you that men with big money, they think that they can do whatever they want to do when they want to do it. And as a matter of fact, we got a promo that runs right now, a segment from that show when we take commercial breaks that's running about that that when we talked about that very briefly. When we talked about Tristan, okay? So they think that I got the money, I'm the big man. Hey, I got a wife, but guess what? I got plenty mistress. And here's the thing. And then you came back and said, hey, Greg, there's some broke guys that feel that way too. Okay, hey, guess what? You got a point there. But the everyday man, if he feels that he's paying the bills and he's working and she's working and guess what? And she can just take her check and do whatever she want to do with it, and he can pay and he pay all the bills. Guess what? He's gonna feel that, hey, you know what? I deserve me a playmate on the side here and there and there and there. And here's what Bill Cosby made his fault, because this is what Bill Cosby made his fault. His fault was shoes, man. Because one thing about it, the Cosby Show was, man, top ratings, NBC. Now here's the thing. This is what we have to think about. The Cosby Show ran on what? NBC, right? That's the network that he wanted to buy, right? Okay,
right.
So whoever owns NBC or the powers may be at NBC, they're saying, well, damn. Okay, he put the show on here. He was executive, produced it and everything, and skyrocketed for many years. Okay, he's worked for us, or whatever the case may be, made enough money, executive produced this show, and now he's making so much money. He made money off us. Now he's finna buy us. I mean, what? So when you're a black man and you got that kind of business sense to do that kind of thing, guess what? You've gone too far. Nigga, you can't own this. And I did say nigga. Negro, you can't own this. You see what I'm saying? So we got to do something to make a statement here because guess what, it's just like Michael Jackson, Sony, Prince, Warner Brothers with the with his the Masters of Purple Rain, all the other albums. Look, you mean to tell me we give you a break, you know what I'm saying, and boom, you make all this mega money, and then the money that we help you make, you're gonna come back and buy us, and you black, guess what? No, nigga, you can't own this. And so guess what we're gonna do? We know that you've done some wrong in the past. We're gonna dig these women up, or whatever the case may be, and we're gonna come against you because guess what? Nigga, you can't own this.
Okay, so what you're saying, girl, are two different things. Which one is it? Did NBC make this whole thing up, pay off these women, orchestrate this? It's a complete lie. Or, number two, did NBC or the powers that be find out that Bill Cosby was like this? Because according to everybody in the comedian industry, in the comic industry, they've known this has been going on for years. Or number two, was Bill Cosby like this, and they just exposed it so that he could go down? So did they make it up, or did they just expose what he already was?
They pretty much it's a combination. It's a combination of both. Actually, I mean, it's a combination of both.
It can't be both. Either you made this, either it's all a lie and you made it up, or it's the truth, but you brought it out so it can destroy the man.
Well, the thing is, let's go back. We're gonna find some women that he used to mess with, and guess what? It took them a while to do that. You see what I'm saying? You just can't make something like that up, in a day or two. You know what I'm saying? You got to do your research. You got to go way back and find, okay, who is, and what woman is going to, who's going to be, our guinea pig to say that, hey, Bill Cosby raped me? Because who really knows whether that old ugly whatever that thing, because the woman looked like a man. Whether he even got with or not. Yeah, I mean, and then there's another one that even looked worse than her. You know what I'm saying? So, so I don't know. I was, in other words, the public, we can't do that because guess what? First of all, we don't know. We wasn't there. We're just going on what the news media says. We're just going on what these people say. So hey, that's why we're talking about it today. On the talk show. We don't know. Okay,
tell me now. As of yesterday, people started pulling out. What do you think about that?
Pulling out what?
They're not playing. Certain stations are again pulling out. They're not playing the Cosby Show.
Well, this is another way to destroy him because here's the thing. Right. Every time that this guy was such a great businessman that every time that. Every time a network runs the Cosby Show, this dude's still making money. No matter who runs it, no matter what network runs it. So this is a way to ruin him and say, okay, we're going to tear you down once and for all. We're going to tear you down for good because how dare you run a sitcom on NBC. It's the number one sitcom for many years. You're the executive producer, so any residuals, you're getting the bulk of everything back. How dare you do that, Negro or nigga, and then you come back and then you try to buy us? No, you can't do that. Now here's the thing. Now Bill Cosby should have said, hey, you know what? I made the money off of it. I'm not going to try to buy NBC. I'm satisfied, and hey, I'm going to leave it alone.
Okay,
but you know what Bill Cosby's problem is? Bill Cosby's problem is a lot of people that's got money and trying to get more money. Greed, man, greed will get you in the hole every time.
Think about what you're saying. If what you are saying were true, then Bill Cosby has every right to try to be a mega star. He has every right to
you can't do it when you're black, Tia. You can't do it when you're black. There's some things that blacks just will not be able to do.
We will never break down any barriers if we just say we can't do it because we're black and we don't try.
You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it.
I don't believe that to be the case.
That's just, you can't do it.
If what you're saying is true, then what about the women before he claimed he was trying to buy NBC, before there was a Cosby Show, before there was even the Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, that cartoon, before any of that, when all of these first allegations were happening in the 60s, who made that up then? He wasn't trying to buy nothing then, and people were filing suit on him for the same thing. You use that. Okay, maybe by what you're saying, maybe they took what the real Bill Cosby was doing and put it all out there for everybody to see. But if that's the case, then he did it to himself. And we can't be mad at the man
the thing is,
for exposing him
he
for who
he
he
got
really
greedy.
is. He's a predator.
He got greedy, and he tried to
Why
buy
is that getting
too
greedy,
much.
though? Why is that getting greedy?
That
You want to
because
expand?
you
think Oprah's greedy?
because you got more money than you're ever going to spend. There's just some things that black people will not be able to own. You have to understand
That
it.
is sad, Greg, what you were
Hey,
saying
Michael
right there is
Jackson owned this
very
Sony.
sad. You're saying
Guess what? He don't own
stay on
Sony no
place.
more. He don't own the Beatles catalog no more. He don't own none of that. You can't own stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? For a long period of time, you think that they're gonna let you get away with that?
Yes.
No.
The
They're not gonna do that.
No one can until the first person does it. We will never overcome if we have that mentality.
Well,
If
guess
nobody
what?
ever tries.
Guess what, baby? We ain't gonna never overcome because with that being said, why black men getting shot by the police and the police ain't even doing no time? Okay, all right. There's just some things you're just not gonna be able to do when you're black, and you got to understand that. So you got to understand what kind of level. Hey, you got more money than you ever want.
Because you're black.
You got more money than you ever want. Okay,
Nope.
Greed, Greed.
I don't
Greed
think
will
it's
get you
greed.
every time.
No, I think if that's
So
the
if
case,
we-
like it is with Oprah, you have to aspire to more. It never happens until the first person does it and breaks down a barrier. Somebody has to do these things. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. There's nothing wrong with, as a black people,
Well,
wanting to be like this.
what Bill Cosby should have done. Bill Cosby should have done like Oprah and buy his own network.
No,
See what I'm saying?
Greg, well,
You
Bill
can't
Cosby
buy.
should have done
You
was
will not be able to
rape
own
women.
ABC. You will not be able to own NBC. You will not be able to own CBS. You will not be able to own Warner Brothers Records. You will not be able to own Universal Music Group. You will not be able to own Sony. Okay, that's just the way it is. I'm sorry, I didn't write it. That's just the way it is.
That is not the way. That's the way it has been, but it can't. But it can change. What Bill Cosby did wrong is drug and rape women.
What Bill Cosby did wrong was try to buy NBC.
He's finally going down for it.
How dare you? How dare you make money off of me and then you try to buy me too? Come on now, in the game of business, man. Which hey. He's a shrewd businessman, a cold businessman, or a smart businessman, whatever you want to call. But sometimes you can be too smart for your good, nigga. You can't own this. That's the point blank thing about it.
Well, I do want to hit on this before we
go ahead. Do your thing, because one thing about Talk to Me with Greg Peters and Greg and Kia. I'm not trying to get you to think the way I think. Say what you want to say.
No, we need it. No, we need the two different ways of thinking. But one thing I want to hit on before we go is this. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
A lot of people were mentioning on social media yesterday, well, why is it just the black man went down, but white men have done the same thing? Even Kevin, the owner of the radio station, who is a black man. See, so you can be a black man doing things. His whole thing was he listed several men and said, why do all these men get away with it, these white men, but Bill Cosby didn't get away with it, basically, or Bill Cosby is being convicted of this crime. It's racial. He listed, he didn't list all of these, but he listed Matt Lauer. He listed Harvey Weinstein.
Okay.
He listed, what was the PBS guy's name? Charlie, what's his name?
Charlie, what's Charlie's name? See, I forgot about Charlie because it had been off TV so long.
Right, that's the one that would really upset you too. And that chef Mario Bianco. But then other people have also mentioned Woody Allen and Seven Heathens.
Oh yeah, Woody Allen was a rascal. Woody Allen didn't he marry like his stepdaughter or something?
Yeah, he did. He married.
That was awful.
That was disgusting. But let's talk about why Cosby went down and these white men didn't.
Charlie Rose,
okay,
just right, okay.
Charlie Rose, that's it, Charlie Rose. First of all, let's start with the ones that Kevin Fox put on my Facebook page. Charlie Rose, he was accused of sexual misconduct at work. No one ever accused him of drugging anyone. No one ever accused him of rape. And as far as I know, saying inappropriate things or whatever he did, I don't think it was illegal. I don't even know if there was any touching. I know that he was like a perv and people slept with him, or, he was sleeping with people, blessers in his company. Matt Lauer, same thing. Perv, he went to people, he said a bunch of, inappropriate things. These were not things that people took to the police. These are things that people took to HR. Chef Mario Bianco, he's out on the Food Network. All these people lost their jobs. You got to remember there's different levels of different things, okay? Some things you lose your job, and some things you lose your freedom. Now, there's the other level, like the Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein, they are currently deposing, getting depositions from 80 women. That's a lot of women. This is not a black and white thing. These are a bunch of white women that are accusing him of this, and he is going down. Bill Cosby, this whole thing with Bill Cosby started in the 60s. This is 2018. He is just now going down. It took that long.
I don't think Harvey Weinstein is going down. Harvey Weinstein, he's getting counseling right now. That's the thing.
He's already been kicked out of his own company. They're talking about why does nothing ever happen.
Still getting the check, though.
He's already lost his wife. He's lost a lot of dealings.
No, he probably won't know way.
And right now the DA is forming their case against him. So Harvey Weinstein, we'll find out. But his day is coming. He's not we can't put him in the same category as Matt Lauer, the chef, and PBS's, what was his name, Charlie Rose. It's just not the same thing.
Well, when it all boils down to, these were men, they were making big money, and they thought that they could do whatever they want to do. Go ahead.
But they were brought down. Okay, Kevin Fox is acting like nothing has happened to the white guy, but why does the black guy have to go to jail?
Nothing haven't happened to the white guy, Kia. Ain't nothing happened to no white dude.
I made a post.
But Kia, you're talking about
that the gymnastics doctor went down, and everybody's like, "Yeah, you can't compare them." Yes, you can. He is a white guy. Yes, you can. He is a white guy who was accused of a bunch of stuff. He got 40 to 175 years sentenced to that.
The gymnastics guy.
Doctor.
And guess
now
what?
We got Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby's not even in jail yet.
When I did that, when we talked about it on that show, that particular subject, it was so under the rug that you didn't even know the guy. I don't know the guy's name, but I did see the story. You didn't know the guy's name, and the thing is,
I didn't know this. Larry Nassar, the doctor. And, it was such a big deal that
but he did get a lot of time. Boy, he got like 175 years.
The U.S. Olympic Committee called for every single person on the gymnastics board to resign, and they have. But my point is, this is not racial. It happened to him. He went down. Now, Bill Cosby is the only black man where it's happened to. So how is it racial when only one black man who's been escaping these lawsuits for 55, 60 years finally gets sentenced? How is that racial? How many times did you have to escape?
Because guess what, Kia? There has been no black man in the history of life itself that tried to buy a national network.
What you are saying has nothing to do with
has
this
plenty
being
to
racial.
do with it.
No,
has plenty to do with it.
Saying, and a lot of people are saying that this is racial. Why does a black man go down, but the white man has never gone down?
Oprah didn't try to buy NBC. Oprah bought her own network. That's what he should have done. See,
Harvey Weinstein, we found out about him in 2017. This
we did.
2018. It took Bill Cosby 60 years to go down, but y'all want Harvey Weinstein to go down in 5 months. Let the DA do their job. That guy from the Seventh Heaven, the one that admitted to messing with little kids, that Stephen Collins, they tried to get him. The statute of limitations ran out because they were saying, well, why did he get off? He didn't get off. The statute of limitations ran out, which also happened to almost all of Cosby's except this one chick that just got him from 2004, Woody Allen. Now, this is a special case of talk about the times. They did Woody Allen, his adopted daughter, Dylan.
I remember that.
He was married to Mia Farrow, accused him, wrote an open letter, I think, to like Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post or New York Times, something. And she spelled it out. She told all the business. But even at the time, Mia Farrow and Woody Allen were going through a horrible divorce. And Dylan, the little girl, was saying, she was a teenager, was saying that this stuff had happened. They had filed charges and all of this stuff. The judge, at the time, this was like the 70s or whatever, he was like, no, I think that will put Dylan through too much because she had started losing her mind, basically, going through all of this and the court case. And so it was kind of like he got a slap on the hand and they dropped it because this was taking too much of a toll on her. She did try it, but you got to remember, somebody has to accuse you and file a report, call the police. Only one person has done that with Woody Allen. So when you ask why has the perv Woody not gone down, only one person tried. and that one person wasn't successful. With Cosby, how many times did he pay somebody off? How many times did he settle out of court? How many times did he do this? How many times did he do that? Until just now, 2018, April 26th, did somebody finally bring him down. It's comparing apples to oranges. I think it's just insane. And, I mean, it's just crazy. So what? He's the first black man. He's not even the first black. He's the first black man, but he's not even the first man to go down for it. It's happening.
Well, one thing about it, we know that it has happened now. And one thing about it, we know that Greg and Kia keep listening. We'll let you know what the damage is going to be, because he will be sentenced. Because hey, then there's nothing that we can do about it. All we can do is talk about it. That's why we call the show "Talk to Me."
Talk to me. That's right, Gregory Peters.
That's exactly right. Well, with that being said, she is Kia Robinson. Boy, she's hot, and she's got people, man, left and right, just blowing up her Facebook.
Mad.
They are mad at Kia. She's blowing up on Facebook. Yes, they are. They definitely are. And also on Instagram, she is the Kia Robinson. Check out there as well. And also, you want to check out the Playground that's on YouTube, and there are shows being downloaded on that as we speak. We have an internet person to help you with that, and so you can listen to not all the shows, but there's certain shows, and I'm sure this one. I'm sure this one will make the cut.
Harris is going to be on top of it. We thank you, DJ Harris, for doing all of this, and this one is definitely going to be in the book. So y'all stay tuned.
You better believe it. Thank you so much, Kia.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. That's going to do it for Talk to Me with Greg Peters. Love your brothers and sisters. And when you do that, you know everything is going to be all right. On the way is the Michael Bajan Show on AM 1380 WLRM, Blues, Southern Soul, and more. And more. And more. And more. And more.